And you say, well, that's just my personality. Well, you can change it. Believe me, you can change it. I'm well experienced at that. Like, because I had a lot to change. But you know something, it's actually a joy to drop it. You understand? What you'll find is that your negative attitudes, each one you drop, you'll notice a joyful feeling of having gotten rid of it. Because you knew it wasn't copacetic. No, no. You had to let it go. And that letting go, you see now that's a problem. It really is. If people say, "Oh, I did that. I let that go," and then 5 minutes later they're saying something that just denies that. You see, you have to watch those. It's those little ideas that you have in there for had maybe for since you were a child. You might have had those ideas, and and they're still in operation in your mind if you haven't canceled them. And actually, they make it a joke, but actually, it's just actually as easy as punching some keys on your computer. And you did some oh no, and then you press backstroke. You know, you get rid of that one. See, you do the same thing with your mind. And I know you can do it with your mind. I just can't do it with a computer. But that's okay. I have enough to occupy my mind 100%. So I won't miss that. And we can always do this. I mean, this we can always do. And what we're doing is we're just reminding you to remember what you heard. And the way you do that is that you roll it around in there. And that's all. This is about the theater of mind. And what you're doing there is that's what you're doing out here. You understand? If you really don't want to do it in person, then don't do it in thinking feelingly because they're one and the same. Jesus told you, I of myself can do nothing. That was Jesus saying that. I of myself can do nothing. The Father within, he doeth all the work. You see, all you're responsible for is choosing a better life. That's all you're responsible to do. Just choose a better life. If you choose a rotten one, I don't want to hear about it. God said, I don't know you. He's just telling you change. That's all he's ever told you to do is just change your mind, change your world. But if you'll do that, if you'll actually sit down, be still long enough, and that's the hard part at first, but you'll be doing it unconsciously at times, you see, and understand that you can do it yourself because you just did it and you didn't try to do it. And that's the difference that makes the difference. You don't use force. You relax. That's all. Be still. You have to be relaxed to be still, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So be still and know, not know about, and know that I'm God. He's telling you, I'm one with you. Because he says, I'm with you always. That sounds like immortality to me. Always. I'm with you always. I will never leave you. Doesn't that sound like
Absolutely.
the same thing? If
Absolutely.
God is forever, then hey, you just have to change your mind to get there. That's all there is to it. I am what? What are you claiming? What are you claiming? And if you catch yourself claiming it, drop it, because if you don't, you'll experience it. Isn't that so?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
So they've learned it all,
Yeah,
or heard it in any way.
exactly. That's, you just said it. Most people, they hear these talks, but very few take the time to exercise the muscle of going into the silence and watching their own inner conversation, catching themselves, replacing those thoughts, and doing something different. Everybody can listen to this and get excited about it, but like I said, very few are really putting this into practice.
Well, it, I don't like to say it because it discourages people, but I listened to a master. That was Neville Goddard, but I didn't follow through. I didn't open and quicken what he said for a couple of years. But when I did, I realized how ignorant it was to hear that what the man said, and it didn't register. You see, we have all kinds of false ideas that we hang on to for whatever reason, but you do hang on to them because you're experiencing them. And everything on the without is secondhand. Whatever you're looking for out there, it's all secondhand. It's only first as idea. And you have the opportunity to change your idea. And that's all you need to do. Change your mind, change your will. And you can do so. They see, because God told you to do so. I mean, that to me, that's enough of an idea to follow through with, isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I had big trouble with attitudes, you know. Because I was so busy justifying them, see, and Neville called it right. Self-justification is the voice of hell. And if you're experiencing hell, bingo, it's all right with you. You can change. You don't need anybody else's help to change it. All we're doing is just bringing you your own message. I mean, and all you have to do is just test it. And if you do it, if you seriously test it for just, well, actually, it shouldn't take you more than a few months. Even though I said it took me a couple of years, that was, but you see, I was very lazy-minded and double-minded and all caught up in the drama, man, and who cares? But you have to have a change of mind. And you can do that. I mean, you're told to do it by God. I mean, so that's it. It's yours. Do it. Do it or don't do it. But don't whine about it. You know, I just can't believe people going to God whining and crying. To God. Absolute love. Loves absolutely. And here you are whining and crying. See, I mean, come on. That it's supposed to be a joyful joining, you know? And you go away whining and crying about it. You got exactly what you expected. And that's what you always get. Exactly what you expect. That's it. And since you're given choice to choose what? What have you been choosing? What you experience, that's what you've been choosing. If you don't like it, you're told, change your mind, change your words. It's as simple as that. I mean, they capture more people with long, drawn out stories of battles, of thousands of people dying and all of that. They just soak that up. But the message gets lost in it. That's what you're to do. You're to find that message that's pertaining to you, first person. That's all that's in there is first person. And Jesus told you, I and my Father are one, even as you and I are one. So there's only one. And he's all things to all, and he does all things. If he didn't do it, it wasn't done. Well, come on. What do you think they're doing in the scriptures? Those sentences. I didn't make, did I make any of that up there,
You didn't make any of
Carla?
it up. You sure
No,
didn't.
no, no, no. See, I didn't make that up. Yeah, you know, there's a couple lines in in your books that I think you should read more often. It pertains precisely to what we were talking about, and it's your own book.
Yep. As I told you, I know the
See,
story.
and I had it even marked out here, and it was, and you said it perfectly. See, I did that for years. That's what I was doing. I was saying it perfectly because I was reading it. But when it came to doing it, I was a miserable failure. I was too busy. Well, let's just say I was too busy. That'll take care of it. But if you're going to be busy at something productive, have a good attitude. I mean, just choose to have a good attitude. Choose to be happy. You know, I got a sign on the, signs of happy hour, big sign. You know, why not? Why not be happy? It didn't cost you any more than being, well, actually, yeah, it does cost you a lot more to be negative because it ruins your life. They're being negative all the time. No, and you can't justify it either. Really. No, really, you can't. Well, yeah, you don't know what they did to me. Yeah, no, I don't. And yeah, I understand it happened. But what are you going to do about it? Suffer it the rest of your life? The guy's telling me a story that happened 35 years ago. And when he finished telling me, I asked him, well, when did it sounded like something happened last week. And I said, when did it happen? 35 years ago. And he's still running that off in his mind. Every day, he says, at least every day. And then we wonder why we suffer. You keep lashing yourself. There's this tribe that was in Africa. They have these little branches that all look like a broom and beating themselves until they're bloody. I mean, they really actually were bloody, and they were doing that as a sacrifice. You don't need to sacrifice anything. I mean, heck, God is all things to all, so what are you sacrificing? Oh, we get strange ideas.
We
But
do.
they come with people with pretty high hats.
Yeah.
So so they figured, well, I don't know, and they have all the actions of knowing, so take what they said as okay, and they find out that generally there's most of them just cults. They're really, and that's not, I'm not bad mouthing anybody. I mean that's what I hear when people figure out what's happening, which most don't, and that's too bad because they're wasting a whole lifetime. Oh, of course, there's no, you gotta do it until you do it right. That's the story. Isn't that the story? In other
Absolutely.
words, you're going to take an impossible me and be God. Heavy duty. But it's just that we're so shallow. It tells you over and over and over in scripture that as you think you are, think godly thoughts. And see, I had a half a dozen of Neville's tapes, and I listened to them at least one every night for years before it actually touched base. I began thinking differently. The importance of having a CD, because what has your focus has your life. Think about it. We're not asking you to join anything, but you have to have the CDs. You have to have the DVDs. You have to listen to them. It's you training this. Listen, listen, listen.
But as Mr. Lindell stated, you have to listen to them repeatedly. And again, for those who are interested, click the link below and it will take you to the 4 CD set, and you'll be able to transform not only your mind, but your world.